The truth is, this is all the internet sees. The finished product, penthouse at 21, and 3 competition in the garage. But you don't actually understand what I had to go through to get to this point. You don't understand the grit that someone has to have to be successful. Everyone wants to completely skip the part of actually going through hardship to get to the point where you want to be successful, to have the things that you want to in life, to have the crib, to have the cars, to have the financial freedom. 2 years ago, financial freedom to me, do you wanna know what that was? It was me simply going to Cane's, me simply going to Chipotle and buying a meal without me having to check my bank account, without having to think that I don't have money to eat good food. And what I mean by good food are these $8 meals. That's what I considered good food at the time. But now we're eating fine dining whenever we want. We're going to buffets, we're leaving tips, and we're giving back to the same people that were giving back to me at the time. Here's the truth. 99% of people want to be successful, but only 1% become successful. The question is, why? Why do only 1% of people become successful? It's because the 99% of people go through hardship, fail, fold, crumble, shrivel. I did that at some point. I would fail, I would shrivel, I would crumble, I wouldn't get back up, and I'll get stuck inside of my own head. But you know the problem with shriveling, crumbling, and getting stuck inside your own head? It's time. Time is the one thing we can't get back, and you continue to let it go. You let it deteriorate your brain, you let your brain take up time out of your day, and then your day is left with nothing. You go to work, you come back, you just want to stay motivated to start your business and become successful, but your mind is telling you you're tired, so you put your head on your pillow and you go the fuck back to sleep. You have to be willing to humble yourself and put yourself in a position to set yourself up for success. A lot of people that I talk to through my DMs, through the comments in my videos, think that you can automatically just start a business and just start printing money. Fact of the matter is, you can start a business and start printing money, but you have to have the grit to go into it first. Someone would say, I don't need to work a job, I'm just gonna be an entrepreneur, start making my own money. But how are you gonna make your own money without any money in the first place? And that's something I had to do and humble myself in the beginning. I worked at Chipotle, I did valet, and I started multiple different businesses that seen some success and some failed at the same time. I remember my first thing I did as an entrepreneur, I sold lemonade at like 6 or 7 years old. And my next big thing that I did, 7th grade. What did I do in 7th grade? I sold candy, Pringles, chips, Sour Patch Kids, Capri Suns, High C's, individual sticks of gum out of my locker in middle school. I became a barber, I cut hair at some point. I worked for a mulcher at some point, which made me want to start my mulching business. I started a snow removal business. I got only one client, and that was my next door neighbor. There's a lot of different things I had to go through and a lot of different things I had to try to get me to my point. And as I was starting my business at 18 years old, guess what I was doing? Working a 9 to 5. A 9 to 5 is what people want to ignore, what people don't want to do. Except mine was a 6 to 3, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., which is around the same hours every single day. And truth be told, I fucking hated it. I didn't want to go to work, but I knew I needed to go to work to have an income. And at the time I was living with my parents. I didn't have to pay rent, thankfully. Thank you to my parents for that. But what I had to do is go through the hardship of being lonely, understanding, college is not the path for me. Wanting to start a business, but not knowing exactly how to start a business. In life, we need to go through grit. We need to go through hardships. We need to go through things that are gonna build us to the point where we're gonna make us successful. Growing up, I didn't have the best childhood. My dad moved overseas, didn't see him for a couple years, and my mom lived paycheck to absolute paycheck. Me and my brother stacked up in one room, my mom in the other room, the house complete hoarding mess. The truth is, this is stuff I don't really open up about in my video. Part of the reason why my crib is so clean right now, where there's not a speck of dust on the floor and everything is clean, is because in my entire life growing up, or majority of my life was cluttered. The apartments we'd move into was cluttered. Me and my brother lived in the same room, on the same twin beds, rooms messy, living rooms messy, kitchens messy. It got to the point where I genuinely couldn't put a plate of food on the kitchen counter because there was no room. It was so much clutter. And at the time, my brain felt cluttered. So this goes back to this lesson. If your environment is not appealing to you, then you might not see success. Because if you have clutter around you, if your room is not done, if your room is not clean, if your house is not clean, you waking up every single day and you see the clutter around you is gonna make you not want to work. It's gonna make your life feel cluttered. It's gonna make your head feel cluttered. Growing up, we'd be on government assistance, food stamps, Medicaid, all of that. My mom would go to food pantries, get food, we'd get food stamps, supplement our eating. But all in all, I'm saying all this and it might sound like a sad story, but I was very blessed, very grateful. There's someone in a way worse position than me not having the amount of food that I have, not being able to even eat, not having a roof over their head, not having air conditioning, not having heating. I had all of that, but I wanted more. Why did I want to see so much success growing up, and why did I start businesses? Is because I wanted more. I didn't want to get caught in a loop of not being able to buy the food that I want, not being able to eat, getting $1 McChickens from McDonald's every single day, every single week. I didn't want to get caught in that loop, and that's one of my biggest motivations on why I wanted to make money. But it goes back to the point of humbling yourself. You have to accept certain fates, then do it. If you're in the position that you want to be an entrepreneur, but you're stuck in a job, that's fine. Keep working your job. Don't act like you are miserable. You're truly blessed. If you have an income, you have a roof over your head, and you have aspirations, and you're working towards those aspirations, then you are blessed. The biggest thing that people struggle with is not realizing the blessings that God has already given you. I realize the blessings that God has given me. I'm so blessed right now. I'm in the crib I want. I drive the car I want. And to the point where I still feel like I want more. And it's okay to want more. That's only if you appreciate what you already had. God will humble you if you have not humbled yourself. And the truth is, some people need to go through hardship. I believe I went through a lot of hardship growing up, but I also don't believe that's the last hardship I'm gonna go through. You go through hardship your entire life, and hardship might look different for all types of people. Hardship can be different. It can be financial hardship, it could be mental hardship, it could be physical hardship. You know, some people don't have arms and legs, some people are paralyzed, some people can't talk, some people can't see, some people can't walk. That's physical hardship. Some people have mental hardship. Some people truly fall into depressions, have anxiety, have PTSD, are schizophrenic, simply don't have a quality of life. They could have the most amount of money in the world, but they don't have a quality of life because their head is so fucked up. Some people have impoverished problems. Some people go through financial struggles. Some people don't have money. Some people live off government assistance. Some people can't get government assistance, and some people are homeless down in the street down there. I wasn't homeless. My mom worked hard. She worked at TJ Maxx in the store for 7 years, working for $8 to $10 an hour, absolute minimum wage, doing what she could to provide for me and my brother. And for that, I'm truly forever grateful for. And because of that, that's what motivates me to keep going. I never want to live like that again. If you're so mad at your current situation, then you will do what it takes to get to where you want to be. But if you're not mad enough, you don't have a big enough why, then I don't know what to tell you. You need to find your why in life. You need to humble yourself. You need to be able to do the things that you don't want to do to get to where you want to be. There's certain things I do right now that I don't want to do, but I know I need to do them to get to where I want to be. Me, you think I'm perfect? You think I don't go through mental struggle? You think I don't go through some physical struggle? Me personally, look, you probably look at me right now like this dude's fit, he has a six pack, he's ripped. I dislocated my shoulder 3 days ago. I broke my toe 6 months ago and it still hasn't healed. I've torn my ACL, my meniscus, and I still get pain. I broke this other toe, it's completely swollen. I have pain in my neck. I have pain in my lower back. You know, people don't know what they don't know. People are quick to judge simply off what they see in the physical, but what they don't see in the mental and what they don't see in the past. And that's the whole thing with the world. Don't judge people based off how you see them from the initial look. It takes time to judge. It takes time to realize the thing, the person that's in front of you, how they are, how they talk, how they walk, how they speak, how they treat other people. There's different levels to life, and I'm on a different level, and there's someone above me, and someone's watching this video right now, maybe you wishing to be in my position, and I'm wishing to be in someone else's position, and someone else is wishing to be in your position. It took a lot to get to this point. It took a lot to get the crib I want. It took a lot to get the room I want. As you can see, like I was telling you, I like to live in luxury now. I don't want to go back to impoverished situations. I don't want to go back to food stamps. I don't want to go back to food cans. I don't want to go back to food pantries. I don't want to go back to stacked up 2 bedrooms. I don't want to go back to clutter all over the kitchen counters. I don't want to go back to that. And I'm going to make sure I don't go back to that. And if God humbles me and puts me back at that point, it's going to make me have a stronger why so I can work even fucking harder to get to the point where I'm even further than I am right now. And that goes to say life is all about perspective. It's about how you look at life. It's about how you go about life, and it's about how you treat other people inside of your life. There are a lot of things I can complain about right now, right? I can complain that my arm hurts, that my shoulder hurts. I can complain that it's too cold in my penthouse. I can complain that my M3 competition G80, my $80,000 car isn't fast enough. I can complain that my Apple Watch is lagging. People wish to have these things. I can complain about a lot of things. I can wish for a lot of different things. But what's important is me appreciating what I already have. God will not give you what you want if you don't appreciate what you have. I thank God that he helped me to start the business at 18 years old. I thank God that he gave me courage. I thank God that he put me through hardship. I thank God that he puts me through hardship, and he has put me through hardship and put me through a tougher childhood. But all in all, I still grew up in America, even if I lived in impoverished conditions, even if I had a tough childhood, even if I got bullied in my childhood. I still lived in America. I grew up in America. I grew up with the opportunity. Look at what's in front of me right now. I want you guys to see exactly what's in front of me. This is what is in front of me. This view is what is in front of me. How can I not thank God? How can I not? I was about to say, for the people that say God doesn't exist, you're a fucking idiot. I need to control my emotions, and I need to put myself in certain people's positions. You know, the way I grew up with God around us, but I had to find God myself. I was born Muslim, but I had to become Muslim because I had to teach myself the basic knowledge that I needed to become Muslim. And I'm not a perfect Muslim. Islam is perfect. I'm not. But what I'm trying to get at you guys is I can't judge someone for not believing in God. We don't know how people grew up. You look at someone and we're quick to judge, but we don't know what they have went through. Someone will look at me, they'll look at the things I have, and they'll think I'm blessed. You know, I never went through hardship. Everything was handed down to me from my parents. He has everything he possibly wants to in this world. Why would I help him out? Why would I watch this person? Why would I give him my time of day? But they don't know what it took to get to this point. They see the finished product, just like I was telling you, the finished product. I'm ripped, right? That's the finished product. What if I told you 6, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I was skinny as fuck. I was so skinny, I could barely curl 20s. I could barely curl 15s. You see the penthouse, you see the nice cars, you see the money. But what if I told you literally 2, 3 years ago, I was making $2,000 a month? What if I told you that? You don't see what I went through. You don't see what others have went through. You don't see the hardship that people have went through. You just see the finished product. So don't be quick to judge, work hard, and stop procrastinating. Someone wants it better than you. There's someone out there that wants it much more than you. You think in this big ass city that I'm staring at in front of me, there's not someone out there that's working harder than me? I got up at 5:45 a.m. today. Someone out there got up at 4. And then someone got up at 3:30. I recorded 2 videos today. Someone out there recorded 10 videos, 15, 20 videos. I made $2,000 today. Someone out there made $1 million today. There's always that next level. We need to set the foundation to build the house on top of the foundation to get to that next level. You can't expect that next level to reach you if you're not reaching for it. But with that being said, the main point of this video, if you want to become successful, if you want to see money, if you want the nicer things in life, then you have to work for it. And you have to humble yourself enough, go get a job, supplement yourself, save your money, learn a high income skill, and instill it into yourself and start working hard every single day. Go past all the failures that you go through. When you fall, pick yourself back up and keep going. And you can get to the point where you're making a shit ton of money, where you're making someone mad. You think I don't make people mad? My old friends, people I've talked to back in high school, even people before that, I'm sure people are mad, especially when I don't pick up that fucking phone. At this point, I don't have time to pick up that phone. I have more important things that I need to work on. They have very important things I need to work on too, but the difference between me and them, I prioritize and they do not. And I'm not talking about anyone specific, I'm talking in general. Prioritize what's important, prioritize family, business, loved ones, and the most important one, God. And if you've made it this far into the video, I appreciate you and I hope you gained some value. But as I leave you guys at the end of every single video, make sure you leave something to be grateful for in the comments, like, subscribe, and other than that, what do I have to say? Make sure you pray to God. I'm out.